It's Tracy from Entrepreneur Girl, and today is Tracy's Tuesday Tips. So last week we talked about part one of this two-part series, and that is we discussed all the mandatory equipment and apps that you really need to have in order to start your eBay, Amazon e-commerce business. This week we're going to take it one step further. I'd say, 40% of the questions that I get with the YouTube subscribers and subscribers on my website are about 5 key areas. And that is bookkeeping, inventory management, customer service, time management, and taxes. So these 5 areas of concern prompts a lot of people to reach out to me, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So as you develop your business, you quickly realize that it's really hard to manually enter in every piece of inventory that you have. And then you start making enough money where you have to start worrying about such issues as, okay, do I need like a business identity? Do I have to have an EIN number? What do I do about taxes? So all of these business questions start popping up in your mind because you're a little bit afraid that you're not doing everything that you're supposed to be doing, and you don't even really know what that is. And when it comes to a true profit and loss, a true net, how much you're really making after Amazon fees and shipping and cost of goods and all of that, you really may not have a handle on it anymore. It's just kind of gotten away from you a little bit. And then there's always customer service. Trying to get feedback for customer service, reaching out to customers to let them know that you have additional products, trying to grow your business utilizing your customer base. And then just really time management, right? There's always so many hours in a day. We have so much to do as entrepreneurs and business owners that we need to streamline some of these processes to save us time because we just don't have enough hours in the day. So I would say that those are probably the 5 key areas. Those are the ones that I get the most questions in, and we are going to cover them briefly today just to talk about tools that can take you to the next level and actually just do the job for you if you opted into that. To cover today, I'm going to try to talk really fast and give you as much information as I can because there's just a lot I want to share. I can't go in depth with it because we do have so many things to cover, but I hope that in the future I can hit a video on each topic, and that way we can go, dig a little bit deeper. So if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe on the YouTube channel so that you can, know when a new video pops up. Also, this is my Entrepreneur Girl website, and you can connect with me that way as well. For today's video, I hope is really going to help you because these are going to be tools that some are free, some you have to pay for, some I personally use, some I just hear that they're highly recommended. But these tools can help you streamline your business and can take these headaches away from you. And once you are making a certain amount of money and you can afford some of these higher tools and tips and tricks, then it really does make you grow even faster. Here we go, we're gonna hit bookkeeping first. So many people I talk to still use pen and paper, and honestly after a certain point I don't know how you're doing that because you just have too many units. You're not dealing with 10, 20, or 30 units. You're dealing with hundreds or thousands. Of just too time consuming to try to do it with pen and paper. It's actually too time consuming even to try to do it with an Excel spreadsheet, because you still have to manually enter in every line item when you're using that. I know some people that have reverted to Google Docs, so I'll mention it here because it's free and they have, it's kind of like Word and Excel and PowerPoint and all of that. However, it's still manually entering it in, and I find that it just doesn't work. So then we get into some small business accounting software like FreshBooks. And FreshBooks and also Wave, these are basically cloud accounting programs that software that will help you with your small businesses. My favorite one would be Stitch Labs, and this helps you not only with your bookkeeping aspect, but it also helps you with inventory management. And I love when I can multitask programs. So I will be showing you some that multitask across a lot of different elements of our business. And those to me are the best bang for the buck because they do more for the money. And this one is basically inventory control. You can have multiple channels, you know, where you're selling from eBay, you're selling from Amazon, and you can just, you know, Etsy, and you can kind of have it all in one area. And it also helps you with your bookkeeping. As many of you know, I utilize GoDaddy. And GoDaddy has a domain website, but they also have bookkeeping. And this is what I've opted to do. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm doing all of my online bookkeeping through GoDaddy Bookkeeping. I find that it does everything I need for a very low price, and the reports are really good. So I can take the reports, I can go to my accountant, and everybody's pretty happy. So I'll put a link to my GoDaddy video down below. The only thing it doesn't do that I wish it did was give me like a per unit. It syncs, but it doesn't sync per every item. And so, you know, you have to kind of work around that issue. But that is what I use. But all of these come highly recommended as far as your bookkeeping goes. Okay, next we're getting into inventory management. You know, this is where you're able to control the inventory that you possess, you know, track your products, see what sells well. If you know, I was using the free eBay and Amazon apps, which was in the last video. And then I switched to Profit Bandit, which is a scanning app that helps you make better sourcing decisions, you know, make sure that they're profitable, they're ranking where you want. And so I was really happy with Profit Bandit. And then I also talked about Scan Power, because Scan Power is kind of like the next step up. It's more expensive, but it does more stuff too. With Scan Power, you can connect with Camel, which we're going to talk about, Google Trends. It has a one-touch listing feature. You can print the labels as you go. So there's a lot more to Scan Power. After that, I really liked Inventory Lab. Now, Inventory Lab not only helps you with the inventory management, but you can research and list and grow your sales and get reviews, and you know, there's a lot you can do here. They also have a scanning app which is called Scoutify, which you've probably heard of before, and that is a free listing tool, free if you have Inventory Lab. And so Inventory Lab kind of is trying to multitask again, where they're doing a little bit of everything. So I'm actually liking them better than Scan Power, which is a bit of change since my last video even. And then after that, you get into some really fancy programs like this one, Metrics. This is repricing software. It helps you scout for products. It helps you analyze your inventory. It really does so very much. Any of the ones that I've mentioned today would be good. The next thing we're going to talk about is customer service, because you need to be able to support your customers. You want to get feedback from them. You want to grow your sales, get repeat sales, get good reviews. And so some of the ways that you can do that would be what we're going to talk about now. Remember, this is not an all-inclusive list. I've already thought of a few more places that I could have put on this, but there's just so many. The video would just go on and on. So I just really wanted to touch upon the ones that I personally like. But if you have other favorites, please put them in the comments below so everybody else can see them too, and then do their own due diligence. Most of these, not all, but most, offer some kind of trial where you can check it out. A lot of these are even free. I'm going to start with Mailchimp.com, and basically it's an email marketing service. It helps you to create email lists and keep in touch with your customers. And it's pretty reasonably priced. This is what I use on Entrepreneur Girl website, and been pretty happy with that. Next, we have Aweber. Aweber is one that's also an email marketing, but it's one that comes highly recommended from other people. So this may be better than what I'm using at MailChimp. I really don't know because I haven't used it, but I'm kind of hearing that it might be. And it has a free 30-day trial if you wanted to check it out. Next, we have SalesBacker, and they are really good for getting feedback and reviews. So for those of you that are really wanting to ramp up your reviews and get feedback, this would be a great way to do it. And they also have a free trial for you to check out. The next one would be Feedback Genius. And I've heard really good things about this. They follow up with customers. They help you build this email and address database. And then we get into pages where this is really useful is it lets you build landing pages. And so if you've ever seen like a thank you landing page on a website where, you know, thank you for subscribing or thank you for buying this product. Here's a 15% promo code if you purchase it again, or something along those lines. It's from a page builder like this. Next, we're getting into taxes and insurance and CPAs. My CPA is local, but I did want to give you one that has been online. You might have seen him on blogs and different things because he's kind of in our circles. But this is CPAonfire.com, and you can hire him. He's very knowledgeable in e-commerce, or seems to be, and he might be a lead to kind of push you in the right direction. Wanting to pay your sales tax, TaxJar is kind of pricey, but they're very, very, very good. So they will do all of your sales tax calculating and collecting, and you can even pay them to pay it for you. So you'll never miss a due date or anything like that. And it's also integrated with a lot of different e-commerce sites, as you can see here. So TaxJar, if you can afford it, would be really just such a headache relief if you could go that way. Another question I get a lot is about liability insurance, because if you start to get to the level where you're making over $10,000 a month, you really need to be having liability insurance just to protect yourself. Amazon requires that you do. So this is just one option for you. So this would be amzliabilityinsurance.com, and you can kind of look it over yourself. Category that we're going to cover today, but it's our largest, is time management, and that's because it encompasses just so much. I'm going to break it down into really like 7 key areas, and that's product research, keyword research and tracking, product sourcing, product pictures, artwork and copy work, listing optimization, email follow-up and collection, and product reviews. And so we're going to take those 7 one at a time and just give you a couple of examples on each one. If you're kind of struggling in that area, that might help you. So now we're getting into product research, and this is where you're trying to find items and you're trying to find them effectively and quickly, and a lot of time can be spent in this category. So some of the free ones that we've touched upon before would be eBay. You can find out what's selling right now, you know, what's hot right now on eBay. We also know that they have a free eBay app that you can put on your phone as a sourcing tool, and also they have Turbo Lister, which helps you list multiple items at one time, and they have Selling Manager. So all of these things are basically free tools that you can use for no price. So if you're not using them, you should be. And then there's Amazon. Amazon, along the same lines, has a bestseller that you can Google the best-selling items, and you can even look at it per category. They also have an Amazon revenue calculator where you can enter in the product that you're thinking about selling, and it will tell you your exact net profit after fees. And of course, there's the Amazon Seller app that is free to download on your phone. Okay, so outside though of eBay and Amazon, some other free tools would be Google Trends. This you can look up what's trending right now, you know, what's really popular right now, and you can check. It also helps with keywords. So like if you're trying to decide between like a vase and a picture, you can enter those in and see which one gets more Google searches. But there's a lot you can do with this free tool, so I would suggest it. Camel, camel, camel. We've talked about that one before. It allows you to look over the course of history at, price charts and demand. And then Unicorn Smasher, I did a whole video on this one, so I'll try to put the link down below. This is also free, and it's a Chrome extension that helps you compare items on Amazon and see how much they're selling for, how much they're making, what is the demand, and all of that. Another one is Clear Platinum. The neat thing that this does is it's a price comparison across several different sites. So say you're kind of eyeballing a product and you think you might want to try to source this online, you can use this tool and it will look at all the different places and find the least expensive place to actually purchase it. So this can be a time saving as well. My personal favorite though is Jungle Scout, and you've heard me talk about them before, but I would for sure check them out. Okay, now we're going to talk about product sourcing. A lot of people, it's kind of a love-hate thing. Either you love Sellwho or you hate it. Basically, it's a directory of wholesalers and liquidators and drop shippers. And so a lot of people like having access to that. I've used it and I thought it was okay, but it does get a lot of negative feedback, so just kind of proceed with caution. But if you were interested in something like that, I definitely wanted to mention it. Then we have Alibaba, which is great for sourcing products. AliExpress, which is a little bit more expensive than the Alibaba, but you can get less quantity. Another one I want to mention for product sourcing is thomasnet.com, also a website that connects businesses to suppliers. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about keyword research and tracking. And so there's quite a few programs out there that are really good for keyword tracking. One of them that I really like is this AMA Suite 4. This is one of those programs that does a lot of different things. It's not just keywords. It's really good with product research and keywords and reviews. Getting reviews. Another one that most of us use is Google AdWords. They have a keyword planner. It is free. And then there's Merchant Words, which is free for so many searches, but then you have to pay. I think it's supposed to be $30 a month, but there's always ways to get it for like $9 a month. So don't pay the full $30. If you don't know how to do it, private message me. Merchant Words, you can enter in a phrase and it will tell you exactly how many hits that phrase has had. And so you can kind of see which ones are more popular than others. Then there's also Keyword Inspector, and this is not one that I personally used, but one that I've heard good things about. And you can look that it talks about the trends, and the biggest thing is that it has this reverse ASIN. You can kind of spy on your competitors and see what keywords they're using. So a lot of people like that one. Then there's AMZ Shark. If you've been doing this for a while, I'm sure you've heard about them. They also do keywords, and you can enter it in and then track it like daily and monthly and see what those keywords are doing. And then there's AMZ Tracker. And this is a keyword tool, and basically what I do right now is I will get the main keywords that my competitors are using off of the Amazon page. So if I want to sell, I don't know, this coffee cup, I'll go and look at the competitors selling that coffee cup. I'll jot down the keywords that it looks like they're using in their listing or what I think it might be. I'll enter those into Merchant Words, and then I will kind of see what pops up from Merchant Words, and then I will put those into the AMZ tracker and kind of see what it says and how they rank, and kind of just use those Merchant Words as seeds to put into here, and then let Amazon or the AMZ tracker do its thing. Then there's Terapeak, and this is a results-oriented title builder, and it kind of determines insights between items that have already sold and the keywords that were used on those items. And I think that's kind of cool because it's effective words, words that have already proven themselves effective with past sales, real sales. So I like that one. And then the last one is Title Builder. And this is for eBay, but Title Builder is kind of like the eBay version of what we've been talking about. And it also generates keywords. Getting into some businessy type aspects of our job. Someone on our Amazon 360 Facebook group had led me to LegalZoom a few years ago, and this is actually where I ended up getting my LLC and doing lots of other stuff. And they've been really terrific, inexpensive, very easy to work with, and I like them a lot. And then there's 5RR, and you can use these for lots of services, small things, any type of video animation you want. You know, I use this for my YouTube channel a lot with the intros and the outros. Also, there's Upwork. I would say for more important jobs or bigger jobs, my virtual assistant is from Upwork. You can use that for creating a listing, and you need photography done, artwork done, copy work done. This is more where I would go for that. And then there's Canva.com, and this is free unless you want to pay for some of the extra bells and whistles. But any type of social media, this will help you with any type of logo design, anything like that. I use Canva for. So most all of my YouTube thumbnails are from here, as are my Entrepreneur Girl website work. Lastly, if you're unfamiliar with Lynda.com, I did want to mention it because I have utilized their videos before. But if there are business skills that you are wanting to learn and you're not sure how to go about it, this is a really neat site. And I've got it for my kids before because I have one that's going into tech. But if you wanted to learn about Photoshop, you know, to work on your own photos, your product photos, or if you wanted to have, you know, an e-commerce website that you were doing yourself, you can learn about WordPress. If you wanted to do the bookkeeping utilizing Excel, you can learn a lot of small business traits here through Lynda, and it's a membership fee, and then you just get to watch all the videos that you want to for free in that time frame. Now you get to listing optimization, and I didn't really know how important this was before, but it's really important when you start looking at conversion rates and really trying to get your product to sell or your service to sell, and getting those people that are looking at it to actually take the plunge and convert. One of the tools that you can do with that is this Splitly.com. The thing that I like about Splitly is that you can test various elements. So if you want to test different images to see which image is selling better, is making people click on it, or is making people want to purchase it, they're relating to that image, or maybe it's pricing. Maybe there's a few different price points that you want to explore, one higher, one lower, one middle of the road. This helps you do that. It takes, you know, all of those different types of measurements and teaches you, shows you how to convert them into sales. Okay, the next area of concern was email follow-up and collection, which we covered when we talked about customer service just a few moments ago. And then that brings us to the last thing, which is product reviews. So we've sold our product, and now, you know, we are trying to get some reviews for that. Review Kick, because I love Jungle Scout so much, this is a knockoff from that company, like a sister site. And so I like Review Kick. Another popular one would be Thomason. I hope that video was helpful to you guys, and if it was, please thumbs up below, leave a comment, and I look forward to seeing you next week on the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.